Welcome to Peak Access, an Endurance Unlimited podcast. We're kicking off a special 4-part series breaking down the biggest bike race on earth. Through the minds and experiences of Alex Howes and Joe Lewis, we'll be analyzing data, tactics, and more to translate it directly to your own training. We want this series to be all about you, so give us your best training or racing questions in the comments below. Alex and Joe will answer them throughout the coming episodes. Let's get into it.
And we're back.
Here we are.
Episode 3. A lot of good stuff this last week, Alex.
Yeah. Tour de France has continued, as one might expect.
They are still going.
They're still going. We're just getting into the meat of it, honestly. Got through the rest day. Some got through better than others.
Who won it? Who won the rest day? Who lost it?
I mean, I think we all know who really won it. Pogačar seems like he gets through everything better.
Yeah, he was your pick for every single stage, right?
Yeah, I feel good about that.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't insight there.
Don't know how I saw that coming, but
it's 11 using the Pro Peloton to figure that out, huh?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time on forums trying to figure these things out. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you think was like another big winner after that? I mean, Remco came out well.
Yeah, Remco, our 68-day. We're not calling it a taper because he did train, but 68-day no racing seems to be working. Same pattern as last few days. He kind of held back, played his part, rode his pace on the climb, came back on the descent, sitting in third.
Yeah, he's kind of playing a little bit classic time trialer, right? You know, like not following some of those accelerations. Kind of funny to see him come back on some of those downhills. Not really his strength in the past, but it's working for him. I don't know. That team in general seems like they're doing pretty well. Like Leibowitz he seems like he's working his way up there. He looks super comfy. But who's the big loser? I guess that's the big question.
Well,
it's not a question.
He was pretty good. The revelation of week 1. Pogačar's lead out man.
Yeah.
Del Toro cracked after the rest day.
Yeah, and you could argue that it would have been worse had Pogačar not like held up. You know, seemed like he was holding back a little bit, trying to keep his buddy there as long as he could. But we were looking at his Strava. This is Del Toro. He's got a big fat goose egg on the rest day. I think he over-rested.
You think he did nothing? Just sat on the couch?
Maybe. Just eating
scrolling Instagram?
Just eating Funyuns and Takis and just having a great time. I don't know if we're allowed to say brands, but...
Yeah, he did that before, though. Didn't you mention you floated that hypothesis?
Yeah, he had a similar issue in the Giro. Last year, I think he lost like a minute to Simon Yates the day after the rest day. Yeah, maybe after doing it twice, he'll learn a lesson there. But I don't want to come down on the kid too hard because I don't remember exactly what place he finished there, but it was somewhere probably in the top 10.
Yeah,
and there's 3 guys sitting here at the table right now that have never finished top 10 on a Tour de France stage.
It's very
so
true. Yeah.
That was like probably his worst day of the tour. And
oh no, 7th overall in the tour. He's doing terribly.
Yeah, I would have cut off both my pinky toes to be in that position, but luckily I wasn't in a position to have to make that decision. I still have my pinky toes. But poor Del Toro, we don't have to cry for him too hard.
There's some time to get it back, but I guess what's the lesson there is full rest makes you flat. Post it on Strava so Alex can see.
Yeah, I mean if you do something on the rest day, you have to put it on Strava. Otherwise, you have a bunch of cheesy weenies like us, you know, digging the knife in,
speculating,
making fun of you for being lazy. But yeah, that full rest when you're in a Grand Tour, not the best. Generally, you have to do a lot more than you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to like probably an age thing too, and a maturity thing a little bit. Like there's nothing that feels more like homework than like riding hard on a rest day. Like, I mean, it's like literally you're trying to pull your own teeth out. It's terrible.
Yeah, there seems to be something with that, the age thing. I would always find with juniors, they often did better if we just didn't do any openers.
Yeah.
Right, the day before. A lot of the times, if they just took a day off, they had their best races. If you went out, you did hard openers, they'd feel a bit flat. But as I got older, I really needed to open up the day before. And I was listening to another podcast with Mads Pedersen's coach. He does 3-hour openers before his races.
Like the opener itself is 3 hours?
No, the ride is 3 hours. Yeah. It's a 5-hour ride with 3 hours at threshold.
Just the old 3-hour opener.
Yeah. Hey, that's what you got to do when you get to that.
I mean, some guys are crazy enough to do that. But I mean, I think you're right. But I think also like when you're in the middle of a Grand Tour, it doesn't really matter how old you are. His intuition and feeling is that, I mean, he was a junior like last week practically. Practically, not really, but he's pretty young, so I'm sure he's had plenty of days where he did nothing and then got on the bike the next day and just destroyed everybody. But when you're 10 days deep in a biggest race of the world, that it doesn't quite work like that.
Speaking of being a junior yesterday, Sexiest looking pretty good.
Dude, the guy's on the up. He's on the up. We'll see.
His openers.
He did his openers. He for sure he rode hard. He's probably wanted to ride a lot, just to get away from the French media, because he's definitely the hot thing on the block. Yeah, he seems like he's on the way up, which I don't know. I was curious on that initially because he had a great Dauphiné, and sometimes that can be the kiss of death. Like you have a great Dauphiné, and it doesn't quite. The third week of the tour runs kind of long after a good Dauphiné, but no, I don't know. He seems like he's on the way up, and yeah, maybe an answer to all the people's prayers who think that the Tour de France is ruined for another like 3 or 4 years with Pog just like destroying. Like Paul Sextus first run at it, he's on the way up, moved his way into the top 5. Yeah.
Imagine being that good at 19.
Yeah. He's got what a life to live, What a life to live. So yeah, I'm sure he got out just to get away from the media.
Carapaz looking good until Pog blew his doors off on the Pertus.
Yeah, poor guy. Pog's just a heartbreaker.
Yeah. Third Bastille Day win.
Carapaz has also traditionally not been great after rest day. Seems like he learned a lesson there. I'm sure Vaughters has been harping on him pretty hard. So poor guy probably had to do a 3-hour opener on the rest day.
Hey, if it worked, that's what everyone will be doing. Vinegar, could we call him a loser? For the rest day? Seems like a great guy.
Yeah, maybe for the rest day. I don't know. He's not a loser, but that whole team's like they're kind of hurting a little bit, Like it seemed like it's like a little selection over one of the climbs there. I don't remember exactly which one. The one that little mountain bike guy. What's little mountain bike guy?
Pitcock.
Yeah, wow, that was tough.
It's one way to refer to
a little mountain bike guy,
Hey, we knew who you're talking about.
Dude, broken ride a mountain bike. His win at the Olympics was insane.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seemed like on that stage, Matteo and Sepp were both struggling in a way that we haven't really seen them struggle in the past. And then, yeah, Jonas is a little off the mark. And I don't know, it's kind of a bummer because their TTT win was like so cool and gave us all so much hope. And now they're swinging a little bit, but I don't know. They're a good team and they're not losers. So hopefully we'll see some fireworks out of them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not much you can do about being born at the same time as a generational talent.
Yeah, and maybe too if Paul the Great can turn into something here. We'll see. We don't want to put too much pressure on the guy. French media is usually pretty good at that. But so we're getting pretty deep in the race. We've gone through the rest day. Today was what, stage 11?
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna talk about what we're actually looking at here? This deep?
Yeah. We're
I mean, it's a different race. We're not talking about team time trials anymore. We're not talking about sprinting up some of these climbs. Now we're getting to the point where, as they would say, the men come to race.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
It's
different
not for the boys anymore.
different legs than everyone started with 11 days ago. I think you talked a little bit about on that first episode how different athletes would come in when we saw those different CTLs. You know, the athletes that would come into the race with goals later on would get better. People that would come in a little fresher be hurting a bit by now.
Maybe hurting a lot by now.
Yeah. The sprinters may be coming in a little fresher, although when we're looking at this green jersey competition, Pedersen, not typically the fastest guy in the race, but the most consistent.
If you want to throw the D word out there, the dude's got durability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got durability on the bike, off the bike. You could hit that guy with a truck and he'd probably be fine. But yeah, he's chasing points everywhere and anywhere, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not easy to do. I mean, what was it, stage 9, that nasty breakaway day? Was it the day that I'm thinking about the day that Vanderpool won?
Yeah, that was 9.
Crazy day, super hard. We have some numbers from the Gruppetto, 305 TSS, nearly 4,000 KJs. Second best 5-minute power, second best 10-minute power, third best 20-minute power to get in the Gruppetto. Intensity factor 8.6 to get in the Gruppetto. To survive another day, to drink a Fanta on the bus and cry to yourself and wonder what the hell you're doing at the Tour de France.
And for reference, anyone out there that's listening, an IF of 1 would be threshold for an hour. So
yeah,
0.86 for 4 hours.
For 4 hours
is pretty tough.
I mean, you're going to the well and you're digging a new well. That is,
and you're fighting for time.
You're fighting for time cut. And then, yeah, why did I bring this up? Mads was in the front group. He wasn't in the breakaway, but he was in the front peloton, which is insane. Because he's a unit. That was not a flat stage.
No, he can climb.
He's a big boy.
The stage. Sorry, go on, Alex.
No, yeah. I mean, the fact that he was there, I mean, you want to talk about durability. Like, that's insane. Like, to be doing that day 9, like, just to be there, it was crazy.
The next day, too, Little Trek lit it up in the first part of the race. Dropped Tim Merlier for that first green jersey point sprint.
Yeah.
Right. All the other fast guys are going out the back.
Mads is just actually a beast. As the kids say, he's coded different.
Coded different, yeah.
He runs a different code. Yeah, so that one was seeing those numbers from the Gruppetto. Yeah, there's that day there was a lot of people wondering what they're still doing at the Tour. And also simultaneously begging for a rest day. So I could see sitting on the couch for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
But on an easy day at the Tour, I kind of want to look at that. An easy day at the Tour de France.
Stage 7?
Stage 7. Arguably, definitely from what I can tell, probably the easiest day at the Tour.
Mm-hmm.
We might see another one. I don't know. We'll see. When everybody's on their hands and knees, you never know. You can get one where everybody kind of throws in the towel, but that kind of was stage 7, just kind of getting around. It was still 2,900 kJs for this poor rider.
Mid-pack,
cruising along, no job to be done, maybe fetch a couple water bottles. So, like, you can, say you did something on the day. It's still 2,900 kJs. That's like 2 days worth of caloric consumption for an average, just like ham and egger at home, walking to the office and back.
No free days at Tour de France.
No free days.
Although,
at
where
Tour de
did he
France.
do? Where did he do 1,200 watts?
Nobody knows where they did 1,200 watts.
Trying to get in the break. Maybe.
Yeah, free day, 1,200 watts. But yeah, that easy day, Tim Merlier won.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I called that. You know,
You did call that.
Feel really smart.
Yes.
You know? Yep. Yeah, Tim Merlier and Tade. I don't know how you guys didn't pick those guys, but you know, somehow I just
this is that race brain, Alex.
Yeah,
this is why you're here, right?
I mean, it's my life. What can I say? I spent a lot of time looking at all this.
Hey, I said it was going to be boring after the Tourmalet, at least for the yellow jersey.
Yeah,
just going to put that out there.
You did say that.
We've got 2 wins for. We won't hold it against you, Josh.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I called some things wrong too. But Alex was right. Good job, Alex. Tim. He's won two stages.
Yeah, 2 stages. But I'm looking at this thing that TrainingPeaks.
Run there.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of TrainingPeaks, but TrainingPeaks put this on their Instagram. Numbers from Tim Merlier, from the horse himself. The easiest day of the Tour de France. Granted, he was trying to win the stage. Yeah, stage 7. The dude still had to crank out 454 watts for 5 minutes.
No, this is stage 8. He won 7 and 8.
Yeah, dang it. All right. Second easiest stage of the Tour de France. Still, 454 watts. I mean, this is a day where like most people are just like trying to get around. And granted, not everybody has to make the efforts that he has to make to be in position. But when you have a guy zipping around like that, and I would argue he's one of, if not the most efficient sprinter out there. Like he finds his way just fine. He's got a couple guys that know how to look after him. But he's doing very little relative to some of those other guys to get where he wants to be.
Can we tell, are these for the year or best?
So that 454 at 5 is his best ever.
Best ever 5 minutes.
Of his life.
Wow. Okay.
Well, at least his life on TrainingPeaks.
Life on TrainingPeaks.
8 stages in.
1,555
finishing it off
watts.
with a 1,500 watt sprint.
Yeah, after 714 watts for a minute. Imagine that. You're doing like, we'll round down to like 650 for a minute, and then you peak it out for like 12 seconds at 1,555 to round it up to 714.
When was the last time you hit 1,500 watts, Alex?
I got over 15 a couple times when I was a junior.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to be. That's that off the couch strength, you know.
Yeah.
like the young bunny. Yeah. Not doing that now. No. You probably would have been up there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I put on 35 pounds since I retired. So
well, you don't show it. You don't show it.
I'm not sure I could do it after 8 days. That's fresh.
Yeah,
5 minutes into the ride, sprinting for.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got over. Definitely not over 13 if I had to do a 1 minute max effort before. I mean, I guess maybe that's not even max. What can that dude do for a minute if you really put his mind to it, put his back into it, as they say?
Yeah, maybe he'll start trying.
Maybe he'll start trying. It seems like he didn't have to try that much to win those 2 stages. It's crazy. He just walked around a couple times.
No, he's looking good. There's a lot of people shining, a lot of people hurting. 11 days into a Grand Tour, you need a lot of durability, which is our word of the day.
That's the word of the day.
What makes a rider shine late? Right? Doesn't matter what you can do fresh. It's what you can do when you've got some work in the legs.
Yeah, this is not a short track mountain bike race.
Nope.
This is the Tour of France.
Mm-hmm.
21 days. Do you think it's like a lot genetic? For sure, there's a big component there. And then there's a big aspect of training.
Mm-hmm.
They're training specifically for durability.
Yeah.
In general.
So I guess just to start, we'll define it, right? So everyone knows exactly what we're talking about. I think it's a word I've said more than a lot this year, as you know, I've been helping people prepare for Unbound, and Leadville. It is what your ceiling, battery, and sprint look like deep into a long day. At the top level, right, fresh power barely separates anyone. It's about power late in long races. Pogacar still pushing huge watts after 5,000 kJs at Flanders, or 10 stages into a Grand Tour.
Yeah, he's very small. To put that in perspective,
Yeah,
for
so
a little guy doing 5,000 kJs. Yeah.
who can still absolutely lay it down after going hard for a long time? Right? That fades glycogen depletion, muscle damage in the tour, sleep debt, heat, could be under fueling. All these things stacking up day after day.
Yeah. I wonder how much sleep debt there is at the tour these days. Just this random side one.
I guess it depends how many staff you have on your team.
Yeah, most of the big teams, they have all the fancy mattresses and
Sudal has a sleep coach.
yeah, just tell you to close your eyes and go to sleep. I can be a sleep coach. I was a coach with my daughter. Close your eyes, go to sleep.
And how's that working?
I'm not the best sleep coach.
Okay.
Did you get certified for that?
I haven't made any money being a sleep coach.
Maybe when she starts losing teeth and the tooth fairy gives us some money, she'll start paying up.
But probably one of the most powerful, recovery tools you have at the tour, and would definitely play into durability. Most of their ways for training durability include just riding like 1,500 hours a year, or something comical like that. Maybe 30,000 kilometers every year for like a decade, and then you go to the tour. How would your average Joe be training this? What can be done, Joe?
I guess for your average Joe out there, the first thing you would want to know is how to actually measure it. So what I like to look at when I'm analyzing files is this power to heart rate ratio, right? Power to heart rate decoupling. It's a good gauge of durability, really only helpful on steady days. So if you look at your long steady zone 2 days, steady time trial efforts, that's a good time. That's a good day to check that out and see what it says. And it measures whether your power to heart rate ratio holds up as you tire. So TrainingPeaks takes the effort, splits it in half, calculates watts per heartbeat, and reports how much that ratio drops from the first half to the second. And if you're holding the same power but your heart rate's crept up, your watts per beat fall, and that decoupling number rises. That drift is fatigue made visible, right? Anything under 5% means engine held pretty good. Over 10 means you faded. And again, only works on long, steady aerobic days where you're holding a pretty steady pace all day, or something like a time trial. So steady pace, and that'll give you an idea of what your durability is like.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at that number, it gets a little skewed by race situations and
definitely. If you go really easy at the start and you go really hard at the end, that's going to change it.
What are some things that are like pretty obvious that are going to just throw that number out of whack?
Fueling, heat. I think we saw that a lot in this first week. I saw that a lot in the last couple of weeks with athletes, right? Having conversations where we're only 4 or 5 weeks out from Leadville, and all of a sudden, athlete rides in the heat and their wattage for the same heart rate drops 20 watts. Have to talk them off the ledge and assure very normal, right? It's very hot. This happens to everyone.
Don't
it's
worry.
110 degrees in Texas, and we haven't really had many days like this. It will get better.
You're just stroking out. Don't worry. Nobody's power fully survives the heat, right? It's kind of like altitude, right? Like some people are better at it than others. Some people can hang on a little better. Other people, it goes over 75 degrees and, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it. But
pacing's another one in a race. Very common. Very common pattern I see is they went out way too hard, right? Everyone rolled away. They got caught up in the bunch and blew up because it was too hard for them, right? Like a lot of the races like Unbound, especially this year, as an amateur, you really have to just ride your own race, right? Let the people go at the start, stick to your pacing plan. You will see a lot of them at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't, you probably weren't meant to see them anyways.
Yeah, but it can feel pretty good having held back, stuck to your plan, and just ripping past people that are completely blown up in that last half hour of the race, or 3 hours of the race.
Yeah, for sure.
But for most amateurs, the fix is fueling, pacing, and like you said, getting fitter, doing a lot of aerobic training, but that's the limit there. So
yeah, I mean, I think fueling is probably the lowest fruit out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
The number of times you see somebody like try and do a 3-hour ride with half a peanut butter sandwich in their pocket, and then they get done and they're like, I just don't know what happened out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, dude, you didn't eat breakfast. You had like a protein shake for lunch, and then you sent it after work with a peanut butter sandwich in your pocket, and now you're calling your wife to come get you because your body actually doesn't even remember what glycogen is.
There is zero left.
That you are blocking out of your mind right now. So maybe eating something would help.
Carbs especially.
Yeah. The old trail mix trick just doesn't seem to work when you're trying to do any sort of intensity.
Yeah.
Don't you think a lot of amateur athletes get caught up in this notion of losing weight and kind of misjudging what their fueling intake is?
One thing that's like kind of counterintuitive there is like if you give your body what it needs when it wants it, then it's not running around scared at the dinner table. Like if you actually have fuel to burn when you're exercising, you're not crawling through the garage door at the end of the ride, eating everything you can see, and then like sitting around all jacked up because you also didn't drink any water, and then all dehydrated, and you get to the dinner table and you eat everything you can see, and then you go to bed like 12 minutes later with a belly that looks like a grizzly bear that just got into the salmon stream.
Do you ever do a BMR test, basal metabolic rate test, when you were racing?
I didn't. No.
So I did once because I was trying to lose some weight for a race. Right, I had Tour of Colorado coming up, and
great race.
Great race.
It's coming back.
I hope so.
That's a rumor I'll start.
But anyway, hey, that's how these things happen. But anyway, I did this basal metabolic rate test. Like I breathed, they just measured what I was breathing out, figured out how many calories I was burning a day, and it ended up being, I don't remember exactly, but just for example, like 2,800. So I would go out on a day where I do a 5-6 hour ride, burn 4,000 kJs. I'd think, well, I ate breakfast. I was eating on the ride, and I mean, eating when I was racing, like I thought I was doing pretty good eating a Cliff Bar an hour.
Yeah,
and
now you were back in the day. Yeah.
Now training for Leadville, I am trying to do 2 or 3 times that. But so I was eating breakfast, I was under eating on the bike, riding through lunch, coming home, having a big dinner, maybe a protein shake, and just feeling absolutely stuffed, going to bed. But when I actually calculated it out, I was like 2,000-3,000 calories under.
Yeah.
I'd wake up the next day, try and roll out for training, do my first effort.
Feel like garbage.
Feel like absolute garbage, turn around and just eat all day. So my body thought, hey, starve it. This guy's going to starve me, right? I can't like burn any of this fat. We need it all.
It's just scared.
But anyway, the fix was I ate more and I lost weight. So a little counterintuitive. You got to fuel these efforts.
I mean, in my mind, it's all about timing, like you gotta eat enough, but you gotta eat at the right time. If it's not coming in when you need it and it's going in right before you go to bed, it's not going to work well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to feel like garbage. Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. So, yeah, I like 2 grams of, so if you're doing a long, hard ride, 2 grams of carbs per kilo body weight, couple hours before. If you're doing hour and a half ride, anything shorter, you don't need any fueling. Hour and a half to 2.5, 30 to 60 grams, and anything over 2.5 hours, you really should be fueling 80 grams of carbs an hour.
Yeah. And it's kind of like we're talking about sort of in the race, but the fact like that guys and girls, peoples can fuel properly now in training. Like you can level up so much
Mm-hmm.
in training.
And the recovery, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
you're happier and you're healthier. You're not all jacked up and sad.
But yeah, I think that amateurs can get, and pros too, can get caught up on losing weight, right? It happens. It starts working and then you're like, all right, I'm going to really just crank the lever on this. But yeah, Venipol, has been I'm sorry, he got a little bit of criticism for losing 4 kilos, but he's got a fueling coach,
Mm-hmm.
right? I saw an interview with him talking about how he fueled for those big days. He said, I ate what my food coach told me to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's not just pulling fueling advice off of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Anyway,
he's got,
yeah. There's a lot of good dietitians, nutritionists out there.
Real people telling him stuff.
Talk to your coach. But that's a big one. That's a big way to fix durability issues for amateurs. I think that's probably the cheapest gain. If you want to, if you find that you're doing that well and you're still falling off towards the end, I really like to add quality to the end of long rides. Same intervals you might do fresh, but behind KJ wall.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that do you think is like actual physical, and how much of that is a bit mental? You know, like part of it's just people knowing what things are supposed to feel like at the end of 3 hours or something. You know?
Yeah, I don't know how I would
I think it's
quantify
probably
that, but
yeah. What's the percentage?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Anyways, there's a double benefit there.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
for sure there's a physical benefit and then also a mental benefit there. What else we got here?
How can we test it?
Testing.
You really want to get into it? You can test it. I've only done this with pro athlete that I've worked with, but way to quantify it is to test your 20-minute or 12 if you're doing shorter races, power at the start versus the end of a long ride. So let's call this the workout of the week. 3 to 3.5 hour ride that measures that fade between those two efforts. So warm up, then you set a fresh benchmark, like 20 minutes at 90% of your CP or your FTP, something hard but repeatable. Note that heart rate, the decoupling, not just the watts. And then ride the middle to 1,200, 1,500 kJs. And you don't want to just soft pedal. You want to put 2, 3, 5 minute.
You're pushing a bit. Yeah.
You're pushing a bit.
Yeah.
Normally put 2 or 3 5-minute threshold efforts in there, so that fatigue's real. And then at around the 3-hour mark, repeat that same 12, 20-minute effort, whatever you decided on, at that exact same target. And you want to see how much higher that heart rate climbed, what that decoupling looks like
or
to that same tower. Or if you can even do it. Some people can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good test. Then go do some training, retest in 6 weeks, and then see how it looks.
It's hard to improve what you can't measure, and that's a great way to measure.
Mm-hmm. Again, you want to watch out for the traps, heat driving the heart rate up, and making things read worse than the legs deserve, and then backloading. Don't look at those races where you went really easy at the start, hard at the end. That's going to give you a number that isn't very helpful.
I mean, I think a lot of it is just people being realistic when they're looking at those numbers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the heat, you're just like, dude, nobody can do it.
No.
Okay? Nobody can do it. So,
but it is trainable.
It is trainable. I mean, that's what training is in a nutshell, is You know, like I think a lot of
Getting-
people think of it as just driving up, FTP or, your 1 minute power, pick a number. But when we're talking about road racing, all training leads to durability in some sense.
going harder for longer.
Being able to do it at the end where it counts.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, why don't we look at this chart of the week, our power duration curve. This was a power duration curve for stage 10. So we've got our modeled FTP and FRC, TrainingPeaks equivalents of critical power and W prime, slightly different model, but fairly comparable. Pretty high model FTP, right? This is a strong rider. Reasonable.
Probably a professional.
It is probably a professional. We can see at the short end of the curve, this ride versus the modeled and the last 90 days, sitting a fair way down. So they didn't, no big sprints today. And then as we come towards 5 through really 3 hours, you're basically sitting on the same curve. So pretty steady day, as you might expect on a day like that. What do you think, Alex?
It never looks easy, does it?
Yeah, big GC engine.
Big GC engine.
Short end sags, not sprinting on a mountain day, 5 to 1 hour. It all comes together to that 90-day best. Sustained power match with the freshest of the season. Durability. Durability. Right. That sustained curve didn't fade.
Saving it.
If he'd cracked that purple one would have just really sagged down towards the long end of the curve. So question for this last week and a half of the race is, who's still got it?
I think Tade's doing all right.
Oh, Tade might win a stage. We've got the Alps stage 16 time trial after the second rest day. What did they learn after the first one?
The TT is going to reveal everything.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty interesting.
I think Evenepoel is going to be on in that time trial, possible second overall. I'd be worried if I was Vingegaard.
Yeah, I think, man, I can't think of many things that would be harder than a time trial the day after a rest day. Like mentally, like you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Like things inside your body.
I don't know. What about an uphill start?
That used to be alive are dead now, you know? Like they're just like there's dead things floating around inside your body. And then you have to like get on the trainer. I mean, for sure, the guys on GC, they're going to ride in the morning. You get up, you go ride. You're like, I don't want to go ride. Why I have to go ride? I don't want to go ride. Your director's probably like showing you videos of the time trial to make you like remember every corner. You're like, I don't want to look at that. Why do I have to look at that? And then
it's a Cat 2 climb, by the way.
In the time trial?
Yeah. It's just, man, that would be so brutal. I mean, uphill start, yes, that would hurt. That would hurt everybody. The TT after the rest is a bit of a blessing for a lot of guys in the room. Because I mean, most of them, they're just like, I'm making time cut. I do not care at all. So you almost get 2 rest days. A lot of guys will probably take a full rest day on the rest day, suffer like a dog for that first climb on the time trial, and then get to the end, and that'll be their opener. Not quite a 3-hour opener, but a good opener.
They could ride a little before and after if they wanted.
Yeah, they'll be ready for stage 17. But if you're on GC, man, whoa, I can't think of many things I would like to do less.
All right,
who's gonna win that?
Remco.
A good bet. That's a good bet.
I think I'm picking him to move up into second there. I don't know, just Tade.
I mean, he's trying to build that momentum. I mean, he was like dropped on the climb yesterday.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not feeling as good as he thinks he is. I don't know.
I think he planned it. I think he knew exactly what he had to.
I don't know, dude. If you watch it, he was turning faces hard.
All right.
I don't know. It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Because I say Remco just because he's been managing his efforts the whole time. He's not been chasing everything down.
Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing. He's planned this out. Mr. Taper.
Mr. Taper. He's about
bringing it, that freshness to week 3 of the Tour de France.
He's about to peak. He hasn't even peaked. man, that climb, yeah, 10.5K at 4%.
Ooh.
So there's some nasty little pitches in there too. Man, that is an uphill start, dude. That is an uphill start. I wonder if anybody's gonna get time cut in that thing. I'll call it now. If I was doing this Tour de France, I'd be out.
Right. But that's all right. We're not. We're sitting here
I would be
talking about it.
OUT, OTL, OUT. Oh man.
All right. Yeah.
Ouchie,
Remco in a
ouchie.
second. That's my pick for next week.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Who you got, Alex?
Man, there's a couple. Stage 15 that could be interesting. Maybe not just a pure sprint.
We're gonna have the two Alpe d'Huez's before we record next.
I mean, we're definitely getting to the point in this race where there's a lot of teams with nothing. They got nothing.
Friday.
So guys are gonna have to start throwing everything at the wall, which I hope would make for some fun racing to watch.
Yeah, maybe we get some more breakaways.
I mean, I mean, we have to. I mean, even today's stage, it's like breakaway of 4. It's like Movistar and Kaha up there, and you're just like, man, you guys aren't getting anything but breakaways out of this race so far.
All right, guys, we got to get on TV.
You're like,
We got to do it for the sponsors.
Lotto out there on a suicide move. You're just like, man, that's tough.
Well, from the TV broadcast today, it was the fastest stage ever.
I feel like they say that every single year.
Yeah.
Well, this one was, I could be getting this wrong, but I think it was the fastest in 14 years.
Yeah.
Because they had a tailwind today too. So
Everyone's eating 150 grams of carbs today.
It is true though that everything is like so optimized now.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were racing, dude, like you show up in a speed suit for a road race day, and everybody'd be like, "You're an idiot. Like you're a joke. You're a joke." And now
That's all anyone's wearing.
there's nobody that has a jersey and shorts. That doesn't exist. You have it for training. That's it. Like I can't imagine a single scenario where a guy would, well, maybe one, diarrhea. If you have diarrhea, maybe you show up in a jersey and shorts. Otherwise,
But the bibs are down.
yeah, otherwise you're showing up to live. Like those guys go so fast, and the faster you go, the more aerodynamics matters.
All right. So you heard it here. Anyone in jersey and shorts,
Don't ride behind it.
diarrhea. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tour doesn't ask what you can do fresh, and neither do a lot of the races that a lot of you will line up for. If you're doing any multi-hour or multi-stage races, you've got to train that version of you that shows up late.
give us a shout. If you've got some other questions or comments, send them to podcast@trainingpeaks.com or leave a comment below. And thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in again, guys.
Josh, thanks, Alex.
This is great.
Thanks for listening to Endurance Unlimited. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on your platform of choice to never miss new episodes. Also, be sure to leave a 5-star rating to let your coach and the algorithm know you're ready to dial in your training. Find more resources to help you take on your next challenge at TrainingPeaks.com or find us on social media at TrainingPeaks. Got questions? Leave a comment or send an email to podcast@trainingpeaks.com. Good luck in whatever you're training for, and trust the process to reach your potential.